Welcome. This is the Orange Unified School District's dual immersion programming meeting. We wanted to set up a meeting so we can kind of go through all of the dual immersion options with the Orange Unified School District. At the bottom here, if we need translation services, you can call that number 323-457-5029 for Spanish, Espanol. So once again, for translation services, you need to call the number 323-457-5029, and the presentation will be translated.
Joe, do you want me to say that in Spanish?
Sure, that would be great with the conference ID.
Si necesita esta presentación en español, por favor llamar 323-457-5029. Y también necesito el ID, que es 429-834-996 y pound. Gracias.
Great. I'll leave that up there just for a little bit longer. If you go onto our dual immersion page on the district site, you will see that we have a brochure that kind of goes through all of our programs. So I would encourage you, if you have any questions or want to get more information, you can see all of this information on the district website. Again, it's about a 10-page pamphlet, goes through all of the information about dual immersion, contacts, and the process of getting into the various programs. I'll leave that up there for just a little longer in case we have anyone calling in that wants to get the translation services. Okay, well, we have some introductions, so I'll introduce myself and then I'll let everyone introduce themselves in the order that they're on there. My name is Joe Irvin. I'm the executive director here with the Orange Unified School District, and I'm overseeing two of the immersion programs. Christina?
Hi, my name is Christina Lin. I'm also the executive director for Orange Unified School District, and I oversee one of the immersion program, which is our Chinese immersion program at Fletcher Elementary School.
And then I know Amber is not here this evening, but she is our coordinator of English Learner Services, and she's also integral to the programming.
And hi, I'm Sarah Pelly. I'm the principal at Fletcher Elementary, which is the home of our OUSD Mandarin dual immersion program.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Misty Brunasso, and I am the lucky principal of California I Inspire Academy, home of an Apple Distinguished School and a dual immersion Spanish program.
And Mrs. Rubio, Lorena Rubio, will be joining us shortly. She's a principal of Jordan Academy, which is also a school that just received the Golden Bell for their dual immersion in Spanish and computer science. Today's presentation, again, we are recording it so you can view the presentation in the future. If you have any questions, you can ask questions during the presentation. If you see there on the icon on your right, there's a little Q&A box. You can type in questions and we will address any questions at the end of the presentation. So a little bit about language immersion or dual immersion. Dual immersion is a technique developed to teach individuals a second target language. The target language is used for instructional purposes. Currently, all dual immersion programs within the Orange Unified School District utilize a 50-50 biliteracy model. That means that 50% of the instruction is in English and then 50% of the instruction is in the target language. As you compare dual immersion programs in the county, you might see that there are differences with that biliteracy model. Sometimes it's an 80-20 or a 90-10, depending on the dual immersion program. But for our district, all the way for all of our elementary programming, it's all 50-50. So how is this different than traditional language instruction in school? The dual immersion program, the language is taught as an instructional tool to immerse students in the language. The language is not taught as a separate subject. So when we think of maybe language as we learned it in school, in high school, you took it as a subject. But in a dual immersion, half of the day the student spends in that target language learning the content, mathematics, science, language arts, and then half the day is spent in the English. So we have 3 dual immersion programs and all 3 principals are here. So I wanted to give some time for each principal to talk a little bit about their program, and then we'll go through some more detail throughout the presentation. So Mrs. Pelly, if you want to talk about Fletcher Elementary.
Thank you. I love to talk about our program at Fletcher. We have a wonderful program that is now in our 10th year. We are the most established, newest or oldest program in the district. And our first cohort is actually attending Villa Park High School, and they are now 10th graders. So our program starts at Fletcher, goes through 6th grade. It then goes on to Villa Park to Sarah Villa Middle School, excuse me, and then on to Villa Park High School. In just 2 years, we'll have a K-12 program. We did win the Golden Bell Award a couple years ago, so we are another one of OUSD's great, amazing award winning programs. We have actually started now a new CTE business pathway that will extend from K through 12 all the way through our Mandarin program. We'll be starting that at Fletcher in the spring with our K through 6th grade classes, and we will have a CTE business teacher who teaches in Mandarin, and they're going to be working on things like marketing, running our school store, doing some sales, maybe a little bit of starting in kindergarten, maybe saving some money and learning about finances and things like that, and earning pins all the way through. So it's a whole program, and we'll know later in the evening we'll talk about our specific meeting dates that we'll be having, so you can learn more about our program. But I could go on, but I'm going to go ahead and let Dr. Brunasso talk about her amazing program at California School.
Thank you, Sarah. I am the principal at California. We are a 50-50 Spanish immersion school. We actually begin in preschool. So starting next year, we will begin with 3-year-olds, and we move our students all the way through preschool, TK, kindergarten, and all the way through 5th grade. We are a 2-time award-winning Golden Bell winning program. One of our Golden Bell Awards is for our dual immersion program, and the second of those is for our drone league. And that is something that makes California Elementary very different than other schools. We have the exciting distinction of being an Apple Distinguished School. There are only 593 Apple Distinguished Schools in the entire world, and we are one of them. So we are truly one of a kind. In Southern California, there aren't any other Apple Distinguished Schools and Spanish immersion schools available in Southern California. Our students spend their time coding, flying drones, programming robots, and much, much more, in addition to doing all of that in English and Spanish. So we're very lucky, and I look forward to meeting with you on our own dates where I can share more exciting things about California iInspire Academy.
Okay, and is Mrs. Rubio here? Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about Jordan Academy. So Jordan Academy is a 50-50 Spanish computer science immersion program. It's our newest dual immersion program. So our students in the Jordan program are now in 2nd grade. So next year they will be matriculating up to 3rd grade. We did open a preschool dual immersion program this year, and then we will have a transitional kindergarten dual immersion next year. And also they are receiving a Golden Bell for this unique program December 2nd. So that's coming up very shortly. So how does the K-12 pathways work for these immersion students? So as we've been building each of these dual immersion programs, we've been intentional about the pathways with which the students will follow and matriculate up from TK now all the way to 12th grade. So as they move through elementary, middle, and high school, they will continue through their dual immersion programming. So we have our Fletcher students are now in high school, our California students that are now at Yorba Middle School. So students are already matriculating up through the dual immersion program into our secondary schools. So at the high school setting, we have Immersion, which branches it both into world languages and then also into career technical education. So this gives students practical language skills. Our CTE courses are taught by both a language and sector-specific CTE teacher. And again, CTE is career technical education. So you can see here, if you look to the right, we have our anticipated matriculation patterns. So our Mandarin program starts at Fletcher, goes through Saravilla Middle School, and is now at Villa Park High School. And again, it's our Mandarin immersion that's has a international business theme. So when students are taking programming in high school, they're doing a lot of international business, but now we're reaching also down into the middle and elementary levels with that career technical education sector. Spanish at California Elementary is our biotechnology pathway. So the students start at California Elementary, matriculate up through Yorba Middle School, and then we'll end up at Orange High School taking biotechnology courses in Spanish. And then we have our Spanish computer sciences and coding pathway starting at Jordan. Eventually the students will go through Santiago Charter School and then into El Medina High School. And again, those students will be focused on computer science in that dual immersion setting. And now I will hand it over to Dr. Bernasso. She's going to talk a little bit about the benefits of immersion.
So thinking about the benefits of immersion are very flexible, and what dual immersion does is it allows our brains to be able to build more flexibility, which are problem solvers, critical thinkers, and more capable of solving problems. At that bottom corner, you'll see a QR code, and this is some examples of the benefits of being bilingual, but there is a research study that was done on students that are both monolingual students and bilingual students, and they gave them both an equal task, and that was to sort shapes by shapes. So squares in one category, circles in another category. At that time, monolinguals and bilinguals did that at the exact same rate of speed. But where the students outperformed was when we added on to sort by color. So these researchers asked them to sort red triangles and red circles and red squares all into one category. And when that came to that high level problem solving, our bilingual students are outperforming monolingual students. So there are many benefits of dual immersion, but really that brain flexibility is the greatest one. And I tease with my family, but that brain flexibility allows more gray matter. So in my opinion, if you're bilingual, you're actually smarter because you have more gray matter in your brain. So that's what I tell my family. You can do what you want with yours. And then thinking about our program goals, all of our models are instructional models. They're in line with the world language standards, in addition to the standards that are provided to us by the state of California. And a K-12 participation in this language immersion allows our students to be not only bilingual, but also biliterate and have experienced those different cultures. And so each one of us has specific cultural events that we bring into our schools in order to help our students really have that rich cultural experience. So there are several layers to this idea of program goals for dual immersion. It's not only that second language proficiency, but it's also that rich academic environment in both English and the target language, in addition to this cultural piece that we each bring to our programs. And then finally, once our students matriculate up through high school and complete this piece of biliteracy, our students are recognized with a seal of biliteracy. But as they move through the program, they earn this pathway to biliteracy. So they earn a pathway to biliteracy in kindergarten, 3rd grade, 5th or 6th, depending on the school site, 8th grade, and then that seal of biliteracy in 12th grade. And so they actually get a seal on their diploma that says that they're biliterate. And at the last research that I read last year, only 12% of students in the entire United States have that seal of biliteracy on their diploma. So we are preparing your students to be in the, in a small percentage of the United States population to have that. In addition, your students will receive the Immersion Pathway STOL and a CTE Pathway Completion tassel. And we all know it's difficult to get into college now, so every one of these steps are hopefully helping your student look like they're more dedicated, more exciting, more all of those things in order to get them college and career ready, in addition to filling out all of their A through G requirements and their language requirements, and then even those AP advanced placement exams. So there are many benefits through this completion of these dual immersion programs.
Great. And then we have some cultural celebrations. So if the principals would like to talk about some of the celebrations they have for the various cultures that they're doing their dual immersion program through, that would be great.
Hi, my name is Lorena Rubio. I am the principal at Jordan Academy. Sorry for my lateness a little bit here today, but I do want to share, much like California, of course, California and I do the Spanish, California and Jordan, and one of our big events is Dia de los Muertos, but it hits off with Hispanic Heritage Month, which is in September. So we start off with that, and we in our new setting, whereas before we would be able to bring events here at school where we would have cultural nights with food or cultural events. We have managed to carry that in some way or the other. Again, celebrating the Hispanic Spanish Heritage Month with various activities at the school level. And then we also kind of wrap it up with Dia de los Muertos, where we celebrate throughout the week as we build up to Dia de los Muertos by our students learning the culture and what it entails. And so it's a big wrap up towards the end of the Dia de los Muertos time, which is normally on November 1st or November 2nd. And we've had performances available for our students to learn from. We had a really neat Aztec dancers this time. And we also had Spanish folkloric dancers, and they all give a little background of the dances and the historical background of the dances. So that is Dia de los Muertos, one of the bigger events that we do celebrate here at Jordan and California.
So for Fletcher, we do like to focus on a lot of the different festivals throughout the year. Our students, along with help from our newly formed Orange Mandarin Community Booster Club, which spans 3 different schools from K through 10th grade. We've done a Moon Festival celebration, we've had a Lantern celebration, we've done activities here in school, craft activities, other cultural celebrations when COVID allowed it. But one of our biggest events is the Lunar New Year event. And just before school shut down, we had our biggest event of all. We used to have our students perform out in our playground, and we just outgrew that venue. So when our students got to junior high, we went to the junior high school and had a wonderful celebration at Cerro Middle School. We have all of our students perform. They perform skits or songs or chants, all in Mandarin. And we actually were already too big for that venue. So 2 years ago, right before shutdown, we went to Chapman University and had a beautiful, you can see a couple of the pictures there, had a beautiful Lunar New Year celebration with all of our classes performing from K through, I believe they were 9th graders at the time, and 8th or 9th graders. And we had them helping, some of them were helping backstage, some were in the dragon picture that you see there. And we just had all of our students, you can see them all there on stage, and a packed house full of parents and relatives. So we're not sure what it's going to look like for this year, but we know that we will do something for Lunar New Year, and that big celebration will be back, if not this year, next. But that's just one of the many great things we do to celebrate our Chinese heritage and cultural celebrations.
And then at California and also at Jordan, we also celebrate El Día del Niño. And this is a holiday that we celebrate around April 30th. It originated in Mexico, and it's really about a day of recognizing the importance of our children in society and their well-being and their health and their safety. And so we really celebrate our students. We have face painters and carnival games, and last year we had a pretty intense game of Loteria, and we were able to play Loteria, and we did some take-home piñata kits. And so we really tried to, again, work around COVID, but it's definitely a time to celebrate the amazing students that are in our schools, and each one of us kind of does it in a different way, but we are able to celebrate these different cultures and teach students not only about the celebration, but why and when it originated. This is a holiday that originated back in 1925 in Mexico, and so there's a lot of history behind it that we're also able to bring to our students, so that they're able to be those culturally diverse adults when they grow up.
Well, we have some pathways that we'll talk about now. So these are the so you get an idea of what the kinder through 12th grade pathway looks like for our dual immersion students. So our first one here is Mandarin, and I know there's been some recent updates. So I don't know if Christina, if you wanted to speak to the updated pathway.
Sure. Okay, I think the idea of bringing the CTE pathway, to all the way down to elementary school has been a goal for Orange Unified School District. And as you can see on the screen right here, that we are trying to get the course integrated to the daily activity and based on the project-based learning design, so the student can actually utilize the language as part of the tool to learn the skills and learn the knowledge. So here's the breakdown for each of the grade level, and then the idea of the design is the student will receive a pen, which they can pin it on their stole when they do their walk, and the first time when they being promoted from Fletcher Elementary School, and later on graduated from the Ville Park High School. So we're very excited about this component. We also going to bring our kids to work, side by side with some heritage school like Irvine Chinese School, as well as the community that you'll see our kids out there and then promoting our program as well. Okay.
Great. And you can see there as they matriculate up, they're doing Mandarin in their language arts class. And then when they get to 7th grade, they participate in Chinese 2 with World History 7 in Mandarin. In 8th grade, and with a Chinese enrichment course for business. In 8th grade, they have Chinese 3 with US History 8 and a Chinese business enrichment course. And then in 9th grade, they can move on to Chinese 4 with international business in Mandarin. And 10th grade, some type of advanced topics in Chinese of language and culture. 11th grade, AP Chinese. This is when they would take the AP Chinese exam. Along with a marketing and society course in Mandarin. And in 12th grade, they can do a professional internship with a Chinese emphasis or an optional dual enrollment in a college Chinese course. So at this point, that's kind of how we're laying out the program for that Mandarin immersion. When we look at our Spanish biotechnology pathway, this starts at California, it goes through Yorba Middle School, and then it will end at Orange High School. Students start off with Spanish language arts and math in Spanish, and then they continue with STREAM topics in Spanish, which is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And that goes through 5th grade. Upon entry into middle school, they will go to 6th grade at Yorba Middle School, and they will enter into Spanish 3 honors, which is technically at Yorba, it is Spanish for Spanish speakers 1. And they will eventually be taking integrated science 6 in Spanish. And then they will keep matriculating up. The goal is to have them taking AP Spanish by their 9th grade year, if not earlier. And then also biotechnology 1 in Spanish. And then 11th grade, you can see there that they would take another advanced placement course, advanced placement Spanish literature, as well as a biotechnology 2 course in Spanish. And then our 3rd immersion program through Jordan, Starts at Jordan, goes through Santiago Charter, and then will end at El Medina High School. And you'll see a lot of the same principles there with Spanish language arts and math first instruction in Spanish. They are also doing their Lego computing and robotics to get their computer science. In third grade, they'll pick up a program called C-STEM Robotics, where they learn the C++ language for coding, and that is infused with mathematics. And they go through sixth grade. When they transition to Santiago Charter in seventh grade, the goal is for them to be taking Spanish 4 honors. And then they will be able to do their math coding through their honors math course in Spanish. And then by the time they're in 8th grade, they would be taking an honors Spanish conversation and composition pre-AP course concurrently with Math 1 honors and robotics in Spanish. And then in 9th grade, again, AP Spanish language, where they would test at the end of the year for that advanced placement course. And then at 11th grade, you'll see that AP Spanish literature again. They would also be able to sit for the AP computer science course on that 11th grade year. So lots of, as you can see with all of the pathways, there's a lot of advanced placement options for our students that want to continue that challenge. So next steps, we're trying to get this information out early, so you can contact individual sites if you are interested in getting more information. Right now, as it sits, kinder and first grade students are able to join the program without any language experience. Second grade and up typically would have to test in order to get into the dual immersion just to make sure they have the language experience. But again, you could talk to those school sites for more information on that. And then next year, for Jordan and for California, we'll have that TK opportunity in Spanish dual immersion as well. You will be able to get more information about the programs that you are most interested in by attending the individual school presentations. So Jordan Academy is going to have a presentation on December 8th and January 26th, just about their program. California is going to have their program on December 7th and January 27th. And then Fletcher will have their information meeting on December 9th and January 25th. You would be able to start the process of kindergarten enrollment and open enrollment on January 19th. So January 19th would be when the kinder enrollment and TK and kinder enrollment starts. If you're interested in open enrolling, we have a 2-week open enrollment window, and that is from January 18th. For 1st through 12th grade. So you'd want to open enroll during that first 2 weeks starting on January 18th. So just there's a little caveat there. Each school has enrollment tiers. First priority are for those that live in the attendance boundary of the school. Second priority are given to those families that live within Orange Unified School District. And then third priority goes to those students that are outside of the district. And again, that open enrollment time, those 2 weeks from after January 18th, there will be a lottery after those 2 weeks to make those open enrollment priority lists.